What's up, everyone? It's Adrian from Adrian's Awesome Accumulation. Today I'm going to be going over the Starflower Black Iris action figure. So let's get started with the box. All right, let's get the action figure out of the way and let's take a look at this box. All right, so here we have the box, and as you can see, it's like this really cool, like purple, pinkish type of like shiny color, shininess on the box and stuff. And you can see like a blurry image of the action figure right there, and it says RSO2, and it says Starflower Black Iris, and then you have her name right there. What I'm guessing is in Japanese or Chinese. I'm not sure, but there's that. And then on the side here, you can see a product shot of the action figure right there. That looks pretty cool. Again, basically all the stuff on the front. Right here we have Rosado. Here it says Scale Action Girls Collection Model. I don't know why it says model, but she's an action figure, so there's that. And she's 110 scale, so she's a little bit bigger than most 112, but I think she scales with 112 pretty fine. And here we have the back of the box. You can see another product shot right here, which looks cool. And here they're kind of naughty right here, showing off this faceplate. And then you have a cool pose right there. And then, you know, like all the cool stuff that she can do right there. And all the stuff she comes with. And she comes with a lot of stuff, you guys. So there's that. And then this side of the box right here, another shot of the action figure with, like, you know, more stuff that you can do. And on the top here, we have just all that stuff in the front. And on the bottom, we have Rosado right there. So that's the box. Let's get this thing out of the way and take a look at the action figure. All right, you guys, now that I have the box out of the way, let's go over the action figure. And as you can see, here we have her right here. And I gotta say, she looks pretty awesome. You know, she is a more, you know, sexy type of looking character, but, you know, she is also a very cyberpunk type of character. And, you know, cyberpunk and sexiness kind of go together. So I don't really have a problem with it. And it looks pretty good. And I think she looks kind of like a cyber fairy. And, like, you're gonna see that later on as when you put, like, the wings on her and all her stuff. She does look like this, like, cool, like cyber fairy. I don't know, cyber fairy. That's kind of like what comes to my mind when I look at her. So yeah. All right, so here's the head, and you gotta say the face came out nice. You know, the eyes are looking really good. The hair sculpt came out good. I like the paint that they used for the hair. You know, like this like pinkish color, and then it goes down to like purple right here as it gets closer to her face. And these little pieces are, you know, like a soft plastic, so they're movable right there. Got her like pink antennas right there. And then you got like her like hair buns right here, which kind of look like roses. You know, that's pretty cool. I wonder if that's why it's called like the Rosado or whatever. But yeah. So here we have the chest piece right here, which is kind of like an accessory. She comes with two. This is of course her bigger one, and this is the way she comes out of the box. But you know, as we're gonna go over articulation right now in a bit, I'm gonna take this off because, you know, it stays on there pretty well, but like, you know, when you're like moving her and I'm like reviewing her and stuff like that, it's probably gonna pop off. So just to make it easier, I'm gonna take it off. But yeah, so here we have her arms, and you can see her arms do come up to a, you know, kind of like a T pose, kind of a little bit lower, but you know, that's fine. And let me see, let's go over the legs because her legs are like looking pretty cool. And then you have all like these like cool like details. Is that like scratched off? Oh man, I think I scratched that off. But yeah, so you're gonna have to be careful. But like, that got scratched off. That's unfortunate. But like, yeah, she does come with all these cool little details and stuff like that. And you can see her legs came out cool, so it's like very pleasing to the eyes, you know, like mechanical girl and stuff like that, and also the sexiness, of course. But like, you know, yeah, very cool aesthetic and stuff like that. And you can see like these joints right here, this like push in, so like when you like put her legs back, it kind of like pushes in, so that's pretty neat. And all right, so let's go over the articulation again. The arms, not like the highest T pose, but they're that. But like, you know, if you like bend the arm, probably if you go up like that, you know, yeah, so you can get it like that. Of course, it does go all the way around. uh this right here, it is, you know, double. You got a double bend right there at the elbow, so that's pretty good. And she has a swivel up here, so that's cool. And then of course, you know, you got all the movement, all the rotation right here at her wrists, so that's pretty neat. And then, well, let's keep her arms up, and then we'll go over her. So she can look far down that much, bend right there at the waist. she can go pretty far back. I think this is, this shows right now, but like if you have like the chest on it, I don't think it's gonna show. Maybe, but I don't think so. Let's see. Let's put it back on. Yeah, so like with the big one, it's not gonna show. So there's that. And then, she can move side to side right there. And then I kind of popped her off because I was looking at, but she doesn't really pop off that much. But yeah, and then she can rotate. So there's that. And then her head, she could look down that much. It's pretty good. Can look up that much. And then she does move at the neck here, so that's pretty good. She can look around. Like when you move the head, the neck moves also. So kind of want to hold that, and I think the head will move by itself. Now that we're looking at the head, let's pop that off. And as you can see, it's held on by a magnet, and I think that's pretty cool. I've never seen that before in any of the action figures I've ever owned. As you can see right there. So you just pop that on, and it holds pretty well. It's like it's not going to come off. So it's pretty strong magnet. It's pretty good. And then let's take a look at the legs, which are probably the weakest of part of the articulation. So that's as far as she can do the splits. So she can't really do the splits that much. So that's kind of like a bummer. And then when you kind of move her legs up, they kind of pop off. So that's also another bummer. But like if you're kind of like holding it in, pushing it and getting her leg up, she can get her leg up that far. And then to the back, again, if you're holding it so it doesn't pop off, she can kind of get it that far back. So not the greatest range of movement at her legs, but I guess this figure is more about looks than movement, at least on her legs. Like the top is pretty decent. All right, so at the bend, again, you can get, she has like a single bend, but the cool thing about right here is like if you bend it up like that, this gold piece like goes in, so that's pretty cool for like the like the whole mechanical like cyberpunk aesthetic that she has. So that's pretty neat. I like that. And then right here you have like these like little like knives. If you push this piece in, they come out, and I think that's pretty cool. It reminds me of those old toys where you like push the button on the back and they move their arms and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think that's pretty neat. And then you just close them back up again. And then at the bottom of her feet, you have like these little like blades or whatever. And these things are also articulated. You could turn them around and have them go back. And then close this part up. Have her like, like almost like, I guess if she's flying. And then you have them back like that. And then if you have them like this, is like the way I had them. Yeah, it's easier for her to like stand, or else like she won't be able to stand anyway else. So there's that. And then another annoying part is when you're moving her here around the legs, these parts are not that good, greatly secured. So you'll see like part of like her underwear pieces just like pop off and stuff like that. So you gotta like put them on. I think I'm gonna have to glue these on because these pop off a lot, at least for mine. I don't know if you guys will have that problem, but I'm pretty sure you will because these legs are not the greatest. All right, so there is the articulation of the figure. Now we're gonna go over the accessories, and she has a lot, so stick with me. Oh man. All right, you guys, let's get into all this stuff that she comes with because there's a lot. All right, let's start with the hands right here. So she has a whole bunch of hands. She got these open palm hands right there. They look kind of nice. They look, well, actually, they look really nice, and they are like soft, so they're you won't have any trouble like putting them on and stuff like that. So that's good. And then we have, you know, another open palm hands, but like her fingers are closer together. So there's those. And then we have like these like grabbing ones right here, or like claws right here, or like she's like gonna like scratch or grab or like something. But yeah, we have those. And then we have normal closed fists, so that's good for like punching, and they look nice. And then we got some more like grabby ones right here for like maybe like a weapon and stuff like that. So that's good. You know, a whole bunch of expressions with all these types of hands, and you know, like other slightly closed grabby hands right there. So yeah, you're gonna find something to use these for. Yeah. And then we have more open palm hands with like the fingers kind of like curling up and stuff. So there's that. And then the last batch right here, you know, holding hands, you know, more closed holding hands, you know, like, yeah, so there's those. That's pretty neat. Then we have like these mechanical hands and stuff, and these like attached to like one of her backpacks and stuff, as I'll show you later. And then we got like these cool like little like kunai holder, like kunai, they're like supposed to be like knives and stuff like that, but like you attach, let me see, let me take off her hand right here, because this is what like goes on. So like these you can like separate. Let me take this off. Let me take these blades off. I'll show you, because like you can like mix and match all these accessories with like a whole bunch of stuff, and that's pretty cool. All right, so this is actually another hand. So this hand is specifically to put those blades on and stuff like that. So there's another one right there. All right, so you got this, and then this will be the handle, right? And you stick the blade in there like that, and you got like, she's holding a dagger and stuff. And the cool thing about that is you take off this other hand that I have right here, and these also come off. Ow. I don't know how I'm going to take them off. Oh, man. Okay, there's one. There's one. So this is another hand that holds the blades. So there's that. There's two of those. That's cool. And then you put this on the bottom here. And these also go like that. So she has like a dagger with a knife on the bottom here, and you can kind of like switch that around. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, she has daggers, or like these little like things you could put like two. You could put like two big ones on. Let's do that. And then she has like this thing where like, you know, if she punches you, she's gonna slash you both ways, and then you can kind of like switch that up and have like a dagger like on opposite ends, or you could put like two of these small ones on. So that's pretty neat. That's cool. All right, so we got that, and then we have this piece right here, which connects to like her like back, either on the bottom right here, or you could put this actually right here too, I think. Yep. So there's that. And what this does, I'm pretty sure you can put these things on here too. See? Yeah, you can do that. So you can have that. You can have them like that, or you can put these like little bendy wire things. See, she comes with a whole bunch of stuff. You can put these little bendy wire things right here, and these things bend, so you can articulate them however you want. And then you can put a blade on the tips of these things, and then just, yeah, have that like that. Or you could put a small blade on, let's see, let's put another bendy wire thing on, and then put one of the small ones in there, and you got that. So that looks pretty cool. This is a smaller one. And then you can also, where's that arm again with the small blades? Let's take off another one. Come on, get off. All right. Or you could just have another small blade on the tip of the thing right here. If I can, let's see if I can get it out. Yep, right there. So again, you can like mix and match these things like crazy, and then you just put this on right here, and then she has it attached to her back. This looks kind of dumb, but you know, it's for an example of like all the crazy stuff you can do. So there's that. And then she does come with this thing to move her eyes. So let's take a face plate right here. As you can see, these are her face plates. She comes with, I guess, 4. So there's this one, which a happy face, the kind of naughty face right here, and then this winking eye face right there, and then of course her mad face that she has on. So let's take a look. So at the back right here, you have this thing. You put this in like so, and then yeah, you see, you can move her eyes up, down, side to side. So that's pretty cool if you like that. So there's that. And then yeah, so we have, of the bendy wires, we have 4 of those. So here are the other 2. Again, you could like bend them and stuff like that. So that's pretty neat. And I think you can even attach these to like, let me see, where's that arm? You could attach these to the hand, and then she can have like crazy wire knife hands like that. That's cool. I didn't even think about that. Wow, there's so much you can do. All right, so there's that. And then you have this piece right here, which goes onto her chest. And this is just, let's see, this is just a magnet that you put on like so. Yeah, so this is just, it goes on by magnet. Just put it on, and then she has like, yeah, like this cool like chest type of piece right there. So that's pretty awesome. So there's that. And then you have a second chest plate right here. So this is the bigger one, right? Take this off and you put this one on. And then she has a smaller chest plate. And she also has, man, I think I lost that piece. She has another like separated purple piece that I've seemed to have lost. I'm moving all this stuff. Anyway, she has a little like translucent purple piece. If I find it, I'll show it to you. But yeah, you could put that on, and that also goes on by magnet. So that's pretty cool. All right. And then we got these pieces right here, which just cover like her ports right here and stuff. But like, you can cover these ports right here on her back, or you know, if you're not using them, you cover them like that. But you could also put her wings right there too. So there's that. And then we have these 2 different pairs of legs right here, and these attach on the back of her feet. Take this off. And then you just put this on like so. And then she has these type of weird feet right there. All right. Let's take this off because I really like the other ones because the other ones allow her to stand. Let's see. Let's see if I can put this back on. All right. The other ones allow her to stand. And then we have swords right here. These are humongous swords. And she comes with 2 of these. So let's take a look at the sword. You have the details right here. It says Rosado, Project Rosado Starflower. And they have the blades are like this nice purple. And hold on, because the camera's gonna go. All right, sorry, the camera went out, but yeah. So here we have the blades, and the blades look really nice, really cool swords right there. And then we have all these like weapons right here, and these are basically where the swords go. You can put this on right here, like in the thing right there. Just kind of like slot it in, and then you take the other one, and then you slot it in right there. And she has like this long double bladed, you know, thing. I wonder if she can use this as an arrow. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so there's the blades. They stick onto these things, and there's like a whole bunch. There's ones with like hands attached right there. So if you don't want to like her to grab it with like the other hands, you could just put this one on. She already grabs it and just lay that on, and she's holding it. And she comes with a whole bunch of these. Look at that. You know, one just grabbing it, and then you have like little mech arms holding it, and these mech arms go onto like this piece right here, and they kind of like slot in right here. So you can have that slot in right there. You can have her holding that, and you know, or you can have the, my bad, you can have the hand part going in right here, and then just have the sword at the tip right here, and then she'll hold it like that. That's pretty cool. And then yeah, like I was saying, she comes with a whole bunch of those, and then she comes with like different hair pieces right here. Just slot in the face like so, and then you can put that on this one, and then you can put like this headpiece on the top right here. Oops, I got it backwards. Like that. And then you could also cover it. Ah, let me stop this video. Alright, you guys, sorry about that. I was having video problems, but I seem to have got it fixed. So as I was saying, you could also get like this headpiece and get a faceplate, and then put that in so, and then you put it into this piece right here like that, and then you get this piece right here and attach it to the top. Like, hold on, let me see. Oh, okay, and attach it right there. There we go. And attach it right there, and then you can get like this cool covered headpiece right here, and then just stick this on, and then you have it like this. So that's cool. So we got that right there. So that's a cool kind of headpiece right there. And then we got her backpacks. So we got this one, which is just kind of like, you know, normal. It doesn't really have any articulation. It just kind of moves like so. It's kind of hindered by this stuff right there, but as you can see right there. But so this part doesn't move, but it does have these things, and I think this is just basically for the wings. So let me show you the wings. Here we have, you know, one of the wings. And what's cool about this is like these little wings right here are articulated, so you can move these up and out. And then there's a piece right here, so you can get that, put it in like so. And then she'll have like, depending on how far apart you have these like little wings right here, you know, she can get like a huge like wingspan and stuff like that. So there's that. And then when you have it plugged up, right, that pegged in, it kind of rotates, so you can get them moving, you know, in places like that. And then you take these, take it off again, and then the part in her back where I covered with those two other pieces, you could also put the wings in here and have her, you know, have the wings on the waist like so. And then you can kind of have like this like covered like kind of, if you put it on this side, you can have it like a kind of like a dress covering and stuff like that. So that's pretty neat. So those are her wings, those are her backpacks, and I think that's pretty much all of her accessories. So yeah, like I was going over this one's basically the arms and stuff like that. So you could put like a sword right here. Let me take off like one of the swords from this place, and then attach it to this one. So there you have like the sword attached to this backpack, and this one does have rotation right here, also right here, and then here also, and then up here. So yeah, this one kind of rotates a lot. And then you could also put the wings right here, so you can have have her swords attached and the wings attached, so you can do some crazy combinations. So that's pretty much all like her backpacks and stuff. And then I did find that little, let me see, right here, this little translucent purple plastic piece, and this just kind of goes on her like so. Yeah, right there, which is held by a magnet, and that's for her small chest covering right there. So that is all the articulation and all the accessories that she comes with. And stick around and I'll show you a few poses. Pose 1, Cyber Fairy. Pose 2, Cyber Ninja Fairy. Pose 3, Don't Get Caught Down Below. Pose 4, Bloodlust. Pose 5, Cyber Fairy Berserker. All right, you guys, there's the review for the Starflower Black Iris done and complete. And do I recommend this action figure? Well, yes and no. First of all, no if you don't like the articulation in the legs. They don't have far reach. It's very limited. And playing around on the legs, the underwear pieces do fall off really a lot, quite frequently. A lot. It fell off on me a whole bunch of times when I was posing. And also know if you're someone that is easily frustrated with all the accessories she comes with, you're like, whoa, this is too complicated. I don't want to go through all this. That's also no. And like also while you're posing, and then if you forget like the chest pieces, they do fall off while you're posing them. While they're on, they kind of stay on quite well. That's fine. Yes, if you like the way this looks, and if you like someone that likes a lot of accessories, like saying like, oh, how can I use all this stuff to make the the pose that I want to make, create and stuff like that. So yes, if you like everything she comes with. No, if you get easily frustrated and you find it too complicated. But overall, I liked it, and I hope you guys did too. And if you guys liked this video, please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless, and bye.